Among the most disturbing material released tonight is a long series of encrypted text messages from last spring. They involve Lev Parnas, who is currently under indictment in the Southern District of New York. He is the person who's reportedly handed this material over to the Intelligence Committee. The texts are between him and Robert F. Hyde, a Republican congressional candidate from Connecticut. And in these text messages, Mr. Hyde appears to be basically reporting to Lev Parnas about the physical movements and the security situation around Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch in Kiev. The initial parts of their text exchanges are about are negative information about Mr. Yovanovitch. Mr. Hyde at one point exclaiming, using expletives, talking about how terrible she is and how Trump should fire her. But then it moves quickly on to what appears to be surveillance reports from somebody who's watching her. A little sample of those messages, quote, "She is under heavy protection outside Kyiv." Quote, "They are moving her tomorrow. The guys over there asked me what I would like to do and what is in it for them. She's talked to 3 people. Her phone is off. Computer is off. She's next to the embassy, not in the embassy. Private security, been there since Thursday." Quote, "They're willing to help if we/you would like a price. Guess you can do anything in the Ukraine with money, what I was told. If you want her out, they need to make contact with security forces." And then after that, quote, "It's confirmed. We have a person inside." Tonight, in response to this information, Ambassador Yovanovitch's lawyer has just released this statement saying, quote, "Needless to say, the notion that American citizens and others were monitoring Ambassador Yovanovitch's movements for unknown purposes is disturbing. We trust that the appropriate authorities will conduct an investigation to determine what happened." Joining us now is Congressman Jim Himes. He's a member of the Intelligence Committee. He also represents Connecticut's 4th District, which is right next door to the district in Connecticut where Mr. Hyde is currently standing as a Republican candidate for Congress. Mr. Himes, Congressman, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hi, Rachel.
I know this isn't the right way to ask this question, but what the heck? What is this? Please tell me this is a fabulist who has concocted some sort of fantasy plot in his mind, and this wasn't a real thing.
Yeah, I'm not the governor of Connecticut, Rachel, but I do, on behalf of the people of Connecticut, apologize for Mr. Hyde. And look, I guess there's 2 ways to look at this. As you said earlier in the show, this is not Mr. Hyde's first brush with fame. He, of course, got some attention by putting up a truly disgusting tweet about Senator Kamala Harris when she withdrew from the presidential race. So, look, this guy's a malignant clown. It is quite possible that he was just making all this stuff up. That would sort of be consistent with this guy. But, of course, we don't assume that. It is also possible, and we don't know this true or false, that he actually did talk to people on the ground who were surveilling and conceivably threatening a United States ambassador. This is the kind of thing that we take very, very seriously, despite the clown-like behavior of Mr. Hyde.
Obviously, the question that I think immediately arose in people's minds when we first started absorbing the impact or the implication of these text messages is whether or not this is what Ambassador Yovanovitch was being warned about. When she got that middle of the night, 1 a.m. call from the State Department telling her to get on the next plane, there were concerns about her safety. That was about a month after these exchanges between Mr. Parnas and Mr. Hyde were happening via encrypted text. Is there any indication of what the White House or the State Department might have known about this and whether that is, in fact, what led to that urgent security alert to the ambassador that got her out of that country?
Yeah, I mean, I chuckle, Rachel, because we don't know. We don't know. And amidst all of this talk of, almost cartoon-like characters, I mean, this is the stuff that if you made it up and put it into a comic book, nobody would believe. And the reason we don't know, of course, is the headline of everything here that is getting lost in this story. We don't know the answer to your question because the President of the United States, in an absolutely unprecedented move, has refused to make a single person, a single email, a single phone call available to congressional investigators. Why is that? Because every fact, every email, every trove of Lev Parnas, Lev Parnas, who'd ever heard of this guy? Not exactly Mike Pompeo, but every single email, document, phone call that comes out is deeply incriminating to the president. So, not only would we like to have the kind of evidence presented that Nixon was required to present, that Bill Clinton presented, including testifying and giving a deposition himself, because it would be important to understanding the behavior of this president, and presumably important to senators actually making an impartial and informed decision about the behavior of that president. But there's any number of subplots like this surveillance of an American ambassador, or possible surveillance of an American ambassador, that we need to know a lot more about.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.